Let's talk about Scott Brown's daughter,
Yes,
Ayla.
please.
Okay. Just keep it under control. Here she is. She's well known for her support of Rubio during the campaign and her singing the national anthem at one of the freak show, what do you call it? Debates. Here she's doing a sit down with Carol Costello. I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe she's got a new album coming out. But like of all the people, like I'm really curious as to what Scott Brown's daughter thinks about Trump.
My daughter's hot.
Here is, I mean, I'll tell you why this is important.
Maybe she was just in the office judging by where they're having the interview. And she was like, hey, let's do an interview. And she's like, all right.
It's possible she was wandering around the halls of CNN, hundreds of miles away from where she lives.
There's like a stack of cardboard boxes right behind.
But what I found interesting about this was if you want to get into the mind of a Republican voter who one would think would not vote for Donald Trump, right? A young woman who was supportive of Rubio. Obviously, she's a conservative, a right winger, and she's a Brown, so not
sharp.
Not a rocket scientist, but be that as it may, she's probably, I think, brighter than her dad. Not a huge bar to climb, but listen to how she justifies her voting on this. Remember, she's a Rubio supporter.
The country appears so divided. Why do you think that is?
I think in some ways we are, some ways we aren't. For example, I live in Tennessee. When the Smoky Mountains literally caught on fire, people came out of the woodworks, and we weren't divided in any sense.
What will it take?
Hold on, now pause it. Now, I don't know if they edited this in such a way to make her look not very bright, but I have a feeling that the idea... Well, first of all, what she seems to be advocating is that we should just light the whole country on fire, and that'll bring us together.
Okay.
But the idea of saying, like, well, in some ways we are, in some ways we aren't. Like, when there's a fire and we're all threatened by fire taking us over, people aren't going out and arguing about politics. They're just grabbing a bucket of water and they're pouring water on there, as if the alternative would be like, I don't want you to put out that fire because I don't like where you stand on things like abortion rights or immigration
There's
reform.
literally only one person I could see doing that in the entire country. And that would be you.
Maybe I would do that.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe I would do that.
I don't feel comfortable fighting this fire with you.
I think I'm prepared to live in a bunch of pile of ashes rather than to get your help.
I would prefer to be in a
No,
husk
but
heap of a
honestly,
home.
this is how just in sort of incredibly, all she's thinking about here is, I've got an album coming out, or I need to, I want to get a TV show. Whatever it is, her careerist agenda is. She is just trying to avoid addressing this problem. And I'm quite convinced there is a whole mess of Trump voters who are like this, who just like, they want the benefit of whatever it is. My dad, it's not quite my dad, could be in his administration. It could be I'm getting the tax cuts.
I want
It
a
could be,
tax
just
cut.
didn't
I
want
gotta
to
spell
vote
this
for
out
that.
for you.
I didn't want to vote for that horrible bitch. Whatever it is that they justify in their mind to get past their voting for Trump, we're watching it right here.
Any sense.
What will it take to heal the divide?
I know that words hurt, but I think people need to develop a little bit of a tougher skin and understand that you and I, we may not have the same opinions on abortion or taxes or whatever, but like, don't bring me down because I don't believe in the same things you do.
Pause it for 1 second. Now pause it
I
for 1
thought you
second.
needed a tougher
Let's say-
skin.
Yeah, tougher. Yeah, here it is. The tougher skin has to be, you don't bring me down because we don't agree. Now, she's not saying don't cut off my health care so that my kids don't have the ability to go in if they've got the whooping cough. All right, don't cut my food stamps so I can't eat. Don't cut my social insurance so that when I get older, I'm not eating cat food to survive. She said, just don't bring me down. You got to have thick skin enough to accept the fact that I am willing to have women lose sovereignty over their own body, millions of people disenfranchised in terms of the vote, people living in the streets in abject poverty, no health care for your kids. You got to have tougher skin to accept that. But don't bring me down. Man, you're harshing my buzz, man.
My dad is subsidizing a country music career, and I need to keep in a really positive state in order to maximize my opportunity for success. So when a Muslim tweets at me that I am bad because maybe I voted for a candidate that will strip their constitutional protections, that is like, you need to develop a tougher skin.
Yeah.
I guess I'm intrigued by developing a thicker skin, not letting words affect you so much.
People just hide behind words on a computer screen, especially people in my generation.
Some people thought that Donald Trump's rhetoric was racist. Was that fair?
Fair in what regard? For them to think that, or for Donald Trump to say it? I don't think. I think that can definitely be debated. There are things that Donald Trump has said that I didn't agree with, you know. However, for me, like I said before, it came down to policy and how I saw the rest of the country shaping up in terms of our strength.
So in your mind, you could ignore those things that
and
he
I did
said,
ignore it, and that's why I voted for him.
even though it might have been hurtful to others who couldn't.
Yeah. It came down to policy for me because I ignored all the racist stuff and all the stuff that would have caused immense pain for people. For me, it came down to policy. Like, for instance, no policy. He had no policy. He has no policy. What is Donald Trump's policy? Can someone tell me? I know, build a wall. Although he said, like, we're going to work on the wall. It may not, this is my negotiating position.
Could be origami.
I'm curious. I would love to have heard Carol Costello say, what policy? Was it to protect Social Security and Medicare? Like, I'm not going to cut those. Now that he has basically hired the primary advocate for cutting Medicare and Health and Human Services, and has now put at OMB the primary driver behind cutting all of it. Not even like, I'm going to strengthen Social Security. Not even the Paul Ryan rhetoric, like, I'm here to save Social Security by cutting it right now. It's, we need to cut Social Security. What policy has he even been remotely consistent on? Oh, I know. We're not going to have a rigged system. It's going to be about you people, not the billionaires that I have now surrounded myself with. What possible policy did she overlook all the racism for to vote for? And you know what? I don't think there's any policies. I think it's just like, couldn't vote for that bitch.
Yeah, but I had a problem, though, in a certain sense, because, I mean, Ivanka's hot, like, for a politician's daughter, and he's always talking about how he likes his daughter and whatnot, but my daughter is way hotter than Ivanka. Like, slam dunk case, dude. It's totally unfair.
Totally unfair.
Totally unfair. She could be, like, the white chick.
What's
in,
really
like,
unbelievable
the Pussycat Posse or whatever.
is that those electors met and did not, for one moment, it seems to me, consider the fact that my daughter hotter than Donald Trump's.
It didn't even register. And then you look at, like, this country and, like, things are moving forward and whatnot, but then at the same time, like, I lost 2 out of 3 to ugly chicks in New England. Major disaster. And no one's talking about my daughter.
It's unbelievable.
Like, there's still a lot more work to do.
So much more to do. So many kings and princes to meet. So little time.
You can literally drink tea with, like, queens and whatnot. They actually do it. Dude.
Sitting on the board of directors of the Kings and Queens organization.
They have an incredible supplement which will, like, totally revitalize your health.
Hey, it's Sam Cedar. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. some over subscribe.